Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be doing some more F tier Fridays. So the hero for today is Arachne Slip Through the Cracks. This is not an F tier hero, and for the most part this deck list looks pretty normal if you kind of just look at the top row of cards, but I promise you it gets a lot worse. So the card that we're going to be trying to make work today is Riddle with Regret, which is a card that was printed in the high seas. It is an aura that basically reads, go again at the beginning of each hero's end phase, they lose X, where X is the number of auras they control when this triggers. If X is 3 or more, destroy this. So, important thing to note about this card is that this effect is symmetrical, and this card is also an aura, which is very funny. So, at the end of your turn, after you play this card, you're basically going to be taking 1 damage, and then you have to basically the kind of impetus is on you to try to figure out a way to damage your opponent with this card. For what it's worth, this is pseudo unblockable damage, which is kind of interesting. But like a lot of Arachne's cards are like pseudo unblockable damage anyway, so like why run this card is kind of like a big question. So we're going to try to make this card work, and the way that we're going to do that is we're going to be running a lot of the old kind of stealth cards, the like cards like Wither, which is on hit, create frailty. We're going to be running Infect, which I think is in a lot of Arachne decks already, if I'm not mistaken, just the 0-5. This is probably like one of the better ones. And we're also going to be running Sedate, which is this one here, which is when it hits create inertia. So we're basically running all the ways to make pox. We also have a couple of reacts to help with that. So we have Spike with Brother Out, which has also kind of been seeing a little bit of play in Arachne decks, and also Spike with Inertia, which has not been seeing as much play, but I think we kind of need a critical mass here of just ways to make tokens. One important note is I tried to include Codex of Blood Rot in this deck. The only problem with Codex of Frailty is basically just not included in every assassin deck, right? But Codex of Blood Rot, the only problem with it is that Ponder also counts as Riddle with Regret. So if you like make a Ponder token, you're basically getting dealt like 2 damage with this. So this is going to be a very weird jank card. We'll try to see if we can actually make it go value positive, but I kind of have my doubts. Like maybe the best scenario with this card is we like play out 2 at some point, and then we just start dealing like 8 damage at a time to our opponent. That's me like Magical Christmas Land. But I'll try to see if I can capture that on the camera. For the kind of rest of the deck, we're also running some like crappier blues that we would normally wouldn't run in like a normal Arachne deck. So we're running like Blue Infect, which is not ideal, and also a couple of blue Sedates just gonna fill out the blue because it kind of fits the curve. If you can go like Dagger into like a Spike with Inertia on a state, and then that kind of like fits your curve a little bit more because these are 1 cost. And then in the board we have a couple of the kind of D reacts that also grant these kind of effects. So we have Inertia Trap and also Frailty Trap as well. And then we also have 2 Spreading Plagues for the extra meme value into anything slow. So if we can manage to land a Spreading Plague and deal like 10 damage off of it, that would be pretty cool as well. A little bit of AB in case we pair into a Kano, which I doubt, and then I guess some undercover acquisitions, because these were in the deck that I think I based this on. I think this is based off like the German Nats winning list or whatever. Obviously I butchered it completely, but we're going to be playing it anyways. So yeah, that's going to pretty much be the deck for today. We're going to go ahead and give it a shot, and maybe this card will kill us. It's kind of almost like we're going to be doing a Vincent cosplay, which is hilarious. And then yeah, we're going to go ahead and get some games. So I hope you all enjoy. All right, it's playing against a Gravy Bones. So wins, defends, and attacks. So this actually could work on allies, notably, which is kind of cool. I definitely think we probably want some number of undercover acquisitions. The question is, I guess, what are we making the cut for? The funny thing is we also have Regicide in this deck, which can maybe be kind of decent. Maybe cut the Withers, and then maybe bring in like 2 Inertia Traps. Kind of don't mind them. Let's try it like this and see how it goes. Obviously cutting down a little bit on our ability to go super high with Riddle, but the Riddle is going to be staying in the main deck for obvious reasons. All right, looks like they're fat decking us, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's normally how this matchup is supposed to go. Like, I imagine it's kind of just like a beatdown on the other side, but maybe they have some kind of like fatigue plan. That's also a possibility. All right, looks like they're going to start off with the Portside Exchange, playing out a Limpet, and then maybe some follow-up on the back end. Do have our undercover acquisition, which is nice, which could potentially force some blocks out of them. Ooh, Chart the High Seas is also quite scary. This card is nuts, by the way. Just the ability to like make gold on a blue that's also a 3-block that also like pitches you a card is kind of nuts. Card is very, very spicy. I guess it's like a very inconsistent card, but like most of the modes of this card that you see are pretty powerful. It seems like they're just going to play out the limpet here and maybe follow up with some other ally, I assume, in hand. Let's go ahead and block, I guess, with maybe the Art of Desire body here. We'll hold on to the acquisition of the bonds in case we like draw into a react or something that we want to play. We'll just give a little bit of blocks here. I imagine on our turn, we're probably just going to dagger limpet and then maybe infect plus undercover acquisition at them or something. That's assuming they don't play out another ally here. In that case, we might just like kill ally, then swing face or something. Couple options with this hand. All right, looks like they're going to be activating Gravid as well. May have another ally in hand that they want to bin. But yeah, generally, you probably want to go first in this matchup if you get the die roll. All right, Oyston's not the end of the world. Oh, CNC as well. Okay. CNC is fine. I think I might just cover this with the undercover and the Bonds of Agony and hold on to the effect as that's probably your highest damage output card. Fortunately for us, they're not playing out the Oyston, which would be a little bit more annoying on our turn. But I think this works out pretty nicely for us. All right, we gotta find a Riddle with regret so that this is a true F tier Friday. I've not actually drawn it on turn 1, which I think is maybe like the best case scenario for this card. But maybe we have 3 draws here, so it's semi-likely that we can like maybe draw into it. Could have actually gotten like a little bit aggressive on the block and just like blocked with the infect as well. All right, so I think we're pitching 1 Take Out of the Mantle here to shoot down the limpet, and then we can infect and mark the Black Widow at them. Maybe forces some cards out of hand, makes them a little bit more cautious or something. I feel like I maybe want to arsenal the Take Out the Mantle, especially with the Bonds of Agony in the yard. Notably in this deck, to make room for all of the crappy stealth cards, we do unfortunately have to add a bunch of, or we have to cut a bunch of the like attack dagger cards as well. So option 1 is we can actually swing dagger at face. Option 2 is we can mark the Black Widow, but then the mark of the Black Widow kind of like forces us into an issue where we're not going to be able to buy back the Clave later in the game. So I think we're actually supposed to just send in the Clave here. That might be better. Obviously, pitching 2 Take of the Mantle is probably not ideal, but I think it's maybe fine here to just get the mark, especially to set up for next turn. And we'll kind of just play a little bit of like a tempo game here. Kept the board clear. This hand is interesting. I guess that's going to be a pretty big mark of the Black Widow. Could also just like do this into Codex, depending on what they do. It's another option. Like we could do like Razor's Edge, pitch a Spike with Inertia, mark in Black Widow, and then end on the Codex, and then get like Infector or something else. All right. Do need to find the riddles though. That is the whole point of this deck. All right, coming in with Murderous Rabble, so that will let them play out their Anka, which is actually fine. Funny thing to note about Anka is that he does not work on Ponder tokens, which is kind of cool. I think it's specifically. I feel like it's maybe like a weird timing issue. Maybe the last time I checked, I think that Anka doesn't work on Ponder tokens, but we might have the opportunity to check it here depending on how they play this out. But I'm pretty sure if you like move to end and the Ponder token cracks and you draw a card, then this doesn't trigger. I'm not entirely sure why though. It says this turn. I think this is Ponder's end a turn. So maybe that's the timing difference or whatever. It's kind of interesting. All right, we're closing the chain, playing the Oyston, which makes sense. I imagine they might just want to play out this Anka as well. I guess it kind of really depends on what's in their hand. Maybe they're going to pop their Mage Master, which is also semi-reasonable. Alright, attacking in with the Oyston makes sense. I think we're saying no blocks to this. Kind of funny that these are 3 blocks, by the way. I guess it kind of makes sense that they're 3 blocks, but like, I feel like all assassin cards like block 3 except like Codex of Frailty, but I guess that's because it's like a ranger card. Yeah, assassin is like so crazy with some of the block they get. I guess they kind of need it sometimes, but like, I don't know. Very, very pushed. Okay, Conqueror is probably not ideal for us. So in that case, I think we need to block with these two Spike with Inertias, and then just do Mark of the Black Widow, Razor's Edge Codex, and then we can block with our headpiece as well. Should probably be running Crown in this matchup for what it's worth, because they do have a lot of arsenal disruption effects. I also didn't really think about that because I barely play this hero. Let's go ahead and start off with the Mark. I think we're kind of fine leaving Oyston be for a bit. It's not a super high kill priority, I don't think. I think we'll deal with it later. Let's go ahead and Razor's Edge this just to get it out of our hand because we're doing Codex anyways. All right, they will have to discard here. Pretty likely that they discard an ally. And I think we're on track to basically just kill them without Riddle to regret, which is a little bit sad. We're actually doing pretty okay. All right, looks like they're discarding a back alley break line. We'll go ahead and close chain here and play out Codex. So they're going to get a Conqueror back, which is a little unfortunate. We don't have like good disruption here. Could get the acquisition, but I think maybe Infect is a little bit safer because they do have Gravid E available to them if they want to just use that. Pretty likely they just get a CNC here. Like they could also get Conqueror, but that might not work out as well, depending on how much they want to block here. Right, seems like we are getting a Conqueror. Okay, so they maybe have like 2 blues in hand that they want to play. That's also fine. Might just be eating the Conqueror depending on what they do. But we at least get initial 5 damage here, which I think is quite nice. Right, interesting block here, giving us the gold baited hook. Okay, that's not a necessity unless they're like, because this basically is only covering 1 damage, so you can get 1 damage any point in the game, right? Maybe don't fully understand that unless they're trying to break their hook next turn, which seems unlikely. All right, Ponder token, give me a Riddle to regret. Okay, Spike with Blood Rot could be okay. All right, we do have the Regicide, but I think that given they have 1 card advantage, it's probably not going to be played here unless we want to tap out early. That's also an option. So if they conquer us, what do we block with? I mean, assuming that they are going to conquer us here. The only question is whether or not they're able to pitch 2 blues, because then that changes the calculus a bit. Like we can block 6 on the Conqueror if it's just coming in for 7, but if we have to give an additional point of block, then that gets a bit more awkward. All right, do have 2 blues, which makes sense given that they discarded a blue last turn. So we can either choose to give up the Tunic, or we can choose to give up a 3rd card from hand. Both are somewhat reasonable. I feel like I probably should just be giving up cards from hand, though. May just give up the Regicide, and then also... What if we say no blocks here, actually? What happens? We dagger them, pain the backside, like, we can actually do some nasty stuff. Oh no, we're not going to be able to keep these Spike with Blood Rot, though. So I guess we just, like, have to block here. I think it's maybe just blocking with the Regicide, the pain, and then also... kind of want to hold on to Kiss of Death, but it's also not doing us many favors. Yeah, I guess we'll just play the Infect instead. So we're not able to flex this Kiss of Death anyways. They will get to attack with Oyston here, but it's fine. If we can just send this Infect for functionally 10 if it hits, I think that puts us in a pretty good spot. Alright, so they haven't made a gold this turn. So this just forces out the last card from hand. So maybe this is why they wanted to block with Hook last turn. They wanted to maybe just get the last card out of our hand, which is like, I think we're fine offering that trade. They would get a fair bit of tempo, but we do get Hook out of the way, which I think is a pretty big deal in terms of like long-term game strategy. So I think this is fine. They will just be a little bit patient here and break their hook. And yeah, they haven't made a gold this turn, so they're going to be losing it here. They're also going to be taking another 2 off the Blood Rot, which is quite nice. So we're doing pretty good damage to them. It's mostly just whether or not we're going to be able to get all the way there. They are fat decking us, which is maybe a concern for later in the game. But we still got like a decent chunk of deck left. I don't think it's a super big concern. All right, go ahead and just pass back. See what they got. they're now severely limited on gold. Like, they don't just get gold baited hook for free anymore. Like, this is basically losing almost like 9-ish gold or something, like depending on how many tipples they're running. Gold baited hook is like crazy card in Gravy. I feel like Gravy, obviously, I feel like most people know this, but Gravy probably has the easiest time making gold. Out of the 3 pirate heroes, I think it's like Gravy makes the most amount of gold. Then Marlin, I think, is a like pretty decent way. Like, she's not even like a close second. She's like got like a mid amount of gold. Like, the harpoons, like hitting is kind of the main way she like generates gold, other than like C4 salvage, sunken treasure, and then Puffin just feels like she has a lot of struggle making gold, or it's very inconsistent in this decks. She basically has like the golden Sky Warden and then some other cards, but like gold is like stapled to tons of Gravy cards like the Avasti, like what else is it stapled to? Stapled to Conquer the High Seas, stapled to Chart the High Seas, just a lot of good cards that enable gold and Gravy. And like even Oyston Heart of Gold right from the Armory deck, this just when it dies create a gold. Like there's so many gold generations affecting Gravy, it's kind of crazy. All right, they are going to play out the eye. So I imagine what's going to happen here is that they're going to play like Rigor Mortis, swing with it, then maybe try to finish on an Anka or something. Kind of curious if they're going to be able to use this Oyston because it's kind of not been doing very much. Like I've kind of just been ignoring it up until now, which is I think what you should be doing against Oyston a good percentage of the time. Looking at our hand, by the way, we've actually got some nasty stuff here. We can like double Spike with Blood Rot on a Kiss of Death, and then like Persuasive Prognosis at some point. Like we do, we like Dagger at them, then Kiss of Death, double Blood Rot with Tunic, and then finish on Persuasive. Could also Dagger, Persuasive, then do the Kiss of Death, but then we wouldn't get to flick it, which is like the main appeal of doing that. So I think we're saying no blocks on the Rigor. They will get another gold here, but that's fine. They basically like went gold neutral on this turn because they used a gold with Gravy. I imagine they're just playing out one of their 2 Ankas here. Is it Anka or Anka? Guess it doesn't matter, right? Oh, they're playing out a Amethyst. Interesting. So we'll get go again, so I guess they can play out like another Anka. That's also fine. Oh, they may just want to attack with the Oyston. That's also fine for us, I think. I think we are just ignoring this Oyston. Like, it's done like 6 damage, or I guess it like forced a card out of our hand when they put the hook on it, but like, I don't know. The numbers on this card are not very impressive if you're just leaving it alive. I guess it's like 0 for 3. But it just eats an action point, which is like the worst part of it. So I actually think we don't Dagger face because we're not really using the mark anyways, and we're going to flick at them, presumably. So I think what we actually want to do is we just want to Hunter's Clave down the Rigor Mortis here now that they've played that out. Then we're going to follow up with the Kiss of Death, double Spike with Blood Rot it, and then hope to deal like 8 damage or something off of it. I feel like we're just playing a normal Arachne deck with this particular draw. But I guess I'm not going to complain about a Gravy win on a hero that I do not play. So let's go ahead and start with the Spike with Blood Rot. I think we do want to just use the second one as well. I think we're just going to pump this sucker basically as high as we can go. All right, so we get a lot of good damage here. We might just die off this before we even draw the Riddle. This is going to be so sad. Yeah, I guess we're attacking Gravy with the Persuasive. Ugh. I feel like just a missed opportunity here. I imagine if we had Riddle on this turn, we'd be dealing how much damage? 12 damage to them on their next turn. It's kind of hilarious. And we also get the Persuasive. So we banished a blue and then revealed a bunch of blues. Is that what happened? Wait, did we whiff? Processing. Lethal was, oh, we just took the Murder's Rebel. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, we found it. Nice. A little, like a turn late, a couple turns late. Like we want to see this in our opening hand, ideally. But I think we can pretty safely ignore what the Gravy's doing here. I didn't expect to win this matchup. I'm gonna agree with you, especially with a. I'll nicely call this an unrefined Arachne deck. Uh, I think that we're a little bit below unrefined, but I'm surprised that we're doing as well as we are. But I guess our draw is like this is kind of for the most part just like a normal Arachne deck. We played Codex, we played Infect a bunch of times, we played Kiss of Death with 2 Spike with Blood Rots. I guess Riddle can maybe kill him here, potentially. So I think we want to actually lead off on the Infect first. Oh, Portside Exchange also scary. They can like crap out a couple allies here. But like, I think we're almost at the point where we just start going face. Yeah, I don't feel like we care about 8 damage. So I think we're supposed to play the Infect first, with the hopes that they maybe don't block it randomly, which is theoretically possible. Unlikely, but possible. Now we maybe want to save the Riddle with Regret for next turn. Oh, they're maybe just going to react this. Oh, maybe they just don't have a very good hand. Riddle with Regret will try to make work in, I guess, the next game. But yeah, I guess we just had one of those insane Slippy. I don't even know if this is insane Slippy draw, but like I guess the double spike with Blood Rod on a Kiss of Death was pretty good. But like other than that, like it's kind of like I don't know, just a pile of cards. All right, let's go ahead and get to our next one and see how that one goes. All right, playing against a Kassai. I think I want to go second in Kassai. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. I'm seeing a lot more Kassais that are running the Nourishing Optimist, but I don't know if we're gonna like run Crown to play into that. I think we'll maybe just threaten their golds, bring in our Frailty Traps. Spreading Plague seems like also reasonable. And we can theoretically fat deck, but I'm not super excited. Maybe we cut the Sedates or something like mid. CNCs also don't seem that bad. Yeah, we'll run it like this, I guess. Why not? We have the opening hand Riddle. That's kind of nuts. Oh yeah, I forgot to do my Patreon shout out. If you want to be the proud owner of this playmat or the proud renter of this playmat, I think you have to pay a monthly $2. But you can have these 2 beautiful Zen cats staring back at you. Okay, we'll start, I guess, with. I guess we want to start off with Sedate. We could also start with like Hunter's Clave. There are a couple options here. Let's, I guess, start with Sedate. No, that's probably wrong. We probably should Clave, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It does kind of matter, actually. Yeah, let's actually try to undo. Let's actually start with the Hunter's Clave instead, I guess. All right, so I might just be taking this, and then I think we're gonna follow up with Mark of the Black Widow, and then end on Riddle with Regret, which will deal damage to us, but that is unfortunately the price you pay for an incredibly powerful card, obviously. All right, the blocking, which is fine, and then go ahead and slam the Riddle out. Do you have 2 Frailty Traps? Oh, we have the sick combo here of double Riddle, which will ping us twice every turn. All right, actually, I think that deals 4 to us every turn, which is kind of hilarious. Okay, what's happening over here? We have a Centauri Saber for 9. That's terrifying. Could try to do the bait play next turn of just like blocking a bit. I think we probably just want Arsenal Bonds though. Maybe we block with this and then just double Frailty Trap this. So that we're reducing the damage output a little bit here. This is also going to be dealing a little bit of extra damage to them, which is quite nice. So pretty efficient on our end. We also block with Bonds of Agony if we want here. Then we can like Arsenal the Riddle for next turn as an option. Maybe that's actually better than just like playing out the Riddle arsenaling Bonds in its own kind of weird way. I guess they do get a copper on hit here, but it's not that bad. Really steal 2 to, well, oh wait, how much damage do we do? Wait, why did this Riddle go away? If we give each hero at end phase, they lose X or X's number of auras they controlled when it's triggered. How many auras they, oh, they made a Vigor token, that's why. Oh, we're getting wrecked. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we need to play it a bit safe with the Riddle with Regrets in this matchup. Wow, these are some kind of crazy Kassai draws. Okay, so we have another riddle. That's fine. We have the backup riddle, so it's not the end of the world here. The only problem is that if they ever make a vigor and they have at least 2 auras, they can pop it, which sucks. So I guess we're just taking this. They do have the ability to Kassai here if they wanted to, but maybe they thought it was a little bit too early or something. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and just take this here. I think that we definitely want to lead off on the riddle. I feel like we're not playing Codex this turn. Maybe that's the strat for this hand. Maybe we just lead off on the infect here. I feel like these riddles. Has this riddle with regret done more damage to them or to us? I don't actually know. I know it's done at least like 2 damage to us, maybe more. I guess it dealt 2 off the frailties and it dealt another. I guess it was technically damage positive. Let's go ahead and push the infect through. Right, they have faith, that's fine. Then we'll go ahead and finish on the mark. They block here, no reason to throw a dagger. I think that's fine. We'll just go ahead and Arsenal's Codex of Frailty for next turn. We're going to take another damage off the riddle, but they're also, if they make any vigor tokens next turn, they're going to be taking damage off that. So maybe this actually kind of works out okay for us. Ooh, this X hand's actually not bad. I'm wondering why they're not activating Kassai. Maybe something I'm missing. But I guess, like, we just like pain in the backside, undercover, our desire starting point. I guess we should probably block with something, right? Maybe we actually want to block with undercover instead, I guess. Probably the weaker of the 2 stealth cards. Alright, they do have the option of Grains of Blood still, which will deal them a damage. Insane anti-Grains of Blood still attack. Alright, taking a fair bit of damage here, but we do have a pretty nice hand. So we'll start off with the pain in the backside. We have 2 of them, so it forces 2 cards out of hand, which is at least nice. They are at 3 copper, which is a little bit scary. Definitely not ideal. Alright, follow up with the Desire Body. Fortunately, not a lot of great ways to use the mark here, but it's fine. If we can just get some cards out of hand, I think we're happy with this. Alright, finish on another pain in the backside. Yeah, they have plenty of fodder. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what the rationale, I guess, is for not making gold. But maybe they played more of this matchup than I have. Maybe it's because of the undercover acquisitions. I'm not entirely sure. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and ping ourselves twice with the riddle with regret. I actually didn't know this about this card when I first was trying to brew with this deck, and then Tegan pointed out to me that this actually pings me, especially for every ponder token, and also just by itself, which is quite funny. All right, we gotta put in context out of them. I think that's fine. And yeah, we'll go ahead and just pass back. Take 2, unfortunately, here. But at least it's not going away, which is a little nice. Oh, wait, do we have the actually... Wait, hold on. Sorry. Do we have the actually... Do we have the ability to order these? Like, does this see... If I order the Ponder first... So we want the Ponder result. So I assume... Okay, so we take 2 damage either way. That's good to know. Ooh, we got the Spreading Plague. But they do have Seduce Secrets, so they probably aren't going to be wanting to block very much. A little unfortunate there, but that's fine. Seems like a very like aggro Kassai. Very like red-yellow line, which is kind of interesting. This might be like, I haven't actually looked at Kassai lists. This might just be the one that did well at like a nationals recently. All right, so they know about the Spreading Plague, which immediately makes it terrible. But we do have a spec with inertia. We can Arsenal adjust to next, so I think we're just going to give the Spreading Plague here. I assume they probably have Go again. We'd probably play it a little bit into Glint the Quicksilver there, but that's fine. Probably should have blocked on like the second Saber. But like we didn't know they had Go again, so maybe it's like okay-ish. Not entirely happy with that block. Alright, so they're still not threatening Kassai activation, right? Or they did threaten Kassai activation, they just did that on the first chain link, so this is kind of fine. Get another 4 damage, which is okay. At least the Frailty got a decent amount of value here, and we're going to get an additional value out of the Frailty, which is also quite nice. Alright, we want to start with the Kiss of Death here, which we can then pump with the Spike with Inertia and Arsenal. So if they aren't careful here, we can hit them with 2 Inertias, but then that also gets them a little bit closer to clearing the Riddle, which is a little unfortunate. Still going to go ahead and do it here. If they react it, obviously it's a little unfortunate, but is what it is. The Wither might be surprisingly good into them. Like if they try to go for like a Blood on their hands turn. They like Blood on their hands for a couple here at least. Right, they don't have Fate. I'm curious if they're gonna double de-react it here. Oh, okay, they're just gonna let us hit. That's very good for us. We do not want to close the combat chain, and then we'll go ahead and follow up with the Wither. We can flick another dagger at them, make another Inertia. So I think this actually works out pretty well for us. And then we just get to Arsenal Justinic, which is obviously great. So yeah, I'll go ahead and flick that Kiss of Death, making another Inertia. Yeah, Kiss of Death is such a... It's so cool that you can do that with the card, but also the card is just like bonkers strong. It being like... It's like the ultimate like synergy card, right? Like, the card itself is like on paper, whatever, but like, also there's the Blood on their hands, that makes sense. They're only going to do this for 3 copper, right, though? So maybe that's fine. Do have to take up the mantle, which we can then, like... We could actually make a huge Bonds of Agony here, and then Codex getting random card. So I think we just need to stay alive a bit here. We're not blocking this at all, I think. I think we just need to race at this point. Most of this damage is front-loaded on this first dagger, so their second, or like their next 2 daggers, or their next 2 swords, rather, are not going to be as expensive or as damage-threatening, I guess. Still, like, pretty threatening, though. But yeah, I think we're just dealing with it. Ooh, Blade Flurry is nasty. So that actually might pressure lethal now at this point. So I think we now need to give a bit of armor. So yeah, I think we're a bit in the danger zone here. Oh, you have a very good turn next turn. So hopefully that can maybe save us. All right, Riddle with Regret. Oh, we need to make sure the Riddle with Regret doesn't kill us. Oh, we can't play Codex then. Shit. Okay, so maybe that was supposed to be a block. But in my defense, who plays with this card? Okay, so I think we're starting with the Undercover Acquisition, turning it into Bonds, and then... I don't know. I guess we're just arsenaling this, because if we play it, it kills us. So, yeah, I think that's the play. Gotta do what you gotta do. For what it's worth, I don't think it's a very good matchup. Well, I think if you're running like a normal Slippy list, this might be a good matchup. I don't think for our deck this is a very good matchup at all. Just because I think we're also trimming on like some number of reacts to make this work. We're running a bunch of like weird clunky cards. All right, let's go ahead and flick here. Play, take up the mantle, getting back our bonds, and then we have the classic little double Justinic here. Unfortunately, we're not able to play the Codex of Frailty. I guess we could play the Codex of Frailty if we're threatening lethal, but like, I don't think that we are here. So we can take 2 Spoils of War out of their hand. That's kind of nasty. So hand, deck. And then what are they left with? They're left with, like, what was the other card? Eye of Ophidia and something else. Where's the other card here? Is it in their graveyard? Okay, I think that's fine. So they had eyes. Sorry, what was their hand? It was like eye something. I forget what the other card. I kind of wish it showed you. Does it not show you? So I guess we're probably just sending in Clave here. There's eye plus something, but I guess they can always draw off the golds. Yeah, I guess we're just sending Enclave here. It's kind of wild how many decks I is showing up into, or showing up in rather, recently. Feels like it's kind of too many decks at this point. All right, so we take one off a Riddle, so we're borderline dead here. And me forgetting what the card is with my Goldfish Brain is not going to help. Okay, I think it was the Sharpened Steel. That was the other card in hand. All right, coming in for 5. We do need to block this, obviously. So I think we block with the Spike and then maybe also the Persuasive and hope that we can keep this 2-card hand. If they have any pump here, we basically die, but that's fine. Yeah, I think that maybe Riddle with Regret is not the spice into Kassai, but it was kind of funny that game. I mean, I feel like the Vigor token is something that we didn't particularly consider when we were playing out this card, and that was kind of a funny way that they were able to break that. I don't know if we could have done anything better there. Like, they have such a huge fridge, plus like just the amount of like sheer value they get out of their cards is kind of crazy. All right, I think that was like an okay one. Let's go ahead and see if we can get one more game with the Riddle with Regrets. All right, do we think we can beat a Boltyn? I have my doubts. We'll go first into Boltyn, I think. I've seen a lot more Boltyns run CNC. I don't know if that's a fad or if that's just the Boltyns I'm running into, but I kind of want to bring this in. I think the Frailty and Inertia traps are quite good. It would be kind of funny to steal Spirit of Irina, so I think we're bringing that in as well, and then maybe cutting the Sedates, which are a little lackluster. Codex is CNC is also quite good in the Boltyn. Maybe we can bring in like the CNC as well, and Fatic just a little bit here. Fuck it. We'll just bring in all the cards at this point. All right, we got turn 1 Riddle. Insane. Yeah, I think we're starting off with that, and I think we're arsenaling this in case they end up playing out their spirit. So I guess we'll send in with a mark. If they overblock here, theoretically spreading plague is quite funny. They do have the grains though, which is also the tech against us. Kind of crazy. We could actually just pitch it. No, we're gonna arsenal it. We gotta be a little bit greedy, right? Send in with the undercover acquisition, I guess. Which is funny that it's just for that stupid the one of legendary item they run. All right, is this spreading plague going to be good? Probably not, given that they're attacking with CNC. But I guess we can block with the Razor's Edge, Bonds of Agony, and that's maybe fine. That's what I was mentioning. Like a lot of Boltyns are running CNC for some reason. I mean, like I understand like it's obviously like an okay card. Pitching Illumina is also quite interesting. I think we're gonna go ahead and just block with Crown and cycle our Arsenal here because it's spreading plague and doesn't really matter. I feel like this hand is like pretty keepable. Like we can go Wither into CNC. Arsenal will leave now for next turn. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the play. The Wither hits here. We also get an additional +1 damage on the Riddle. We're still dealing a ton of damage to ourselves, but again, trying to do our best Vincent cosplay as we can. Right, I'll go for the pump here. Try to get that additional point of value off the Riddle. So we're still not breaking even on the Riddle yet, but that's fine. It can take its time. And then I think we're just following up with a CNC here. Yeah, CNC is also quite good in the Boltyn. I guess it's like a little bit less good because they do have quite a big fridge nowadays. But it's still fine. All right, we're just sending CNCs back and forth at this point. I think that is okay for us though. Like when we just play Riddle, in fact, deal 2 damage to ourselves. Do I want it? I think I need to like hold on to the Riddle more than anything. Probably supposed to just play out these 2 and then just arsenal this for like a super big token pop off turn that maybe exists in this deck. We are also running the Fable, the one that like when you pitch it makes a bunch of tokens, so that could be also cool. All right, we're gonna start off with the Infect here. Hope they don't have a 3-block, which is pretty likely at this point. They don't have any soul though, which is at least good for us. It'd be quite nice if they just end up taking this because they're taking at least 3 damage off of it, an extra 3 functionally. please. Oh, they have a soul shield. That's kind of like a fine trade for us though. Functionally getting 6 block out of it. And then we'll go ahead and finish on the Leave No or Riddle and try to make that work. Funny part with having 2 Riddle with Regrets out is that we cannot play Codex of Frailty, which is quite funny. But we'll do our best to make it work here. Alright, Bolt of Courage coming in. So do you have the Inertia Trap that's dependent on them pumping this in some way? So I kind of think we're maybe supposed to just play Justinek here. And if they do go for like a pump, we Inertia Trap. That works out pretty well. Are they going to Snaps instead? That I think is fine with us. Oh, they got Lumina. Sure. So this is kind of fine. Do we really just block out here? We can block out reasonably well. And then we can just like hold on to the Riddle, wait for next turn. Alternatively, we can like play out these two, but I don't think that's really doing us any favors. I think just maybe starving them a little bit of soul is maybe helpful. Don't think we're giving up any armor here. I think we're just going to take our 1 damage here, unfortunately, but they will also take 1 damage. So it's fine. Unfortunately, the inertia is not going to matter here since they don't have any cards in hand, but that's fine. We got a Snapdragon out of them. We also got them to use some pretty good cards out of them, and we blocked pretty well. So I think this is overall fine. I think that we're still not positive on this Riddle with Regret, which is also kind of hilarious. Is this the hand to make Riddle with Regret work? I'm a bit doubtful. Kind of think we're supposed to like put the Spreading Plague here. We can Spike with Blood Rot, or no, that doesn't work because it's not a stealth card. This is a bit rough. Yeah, I guess we're blocking the Spike with Blood Rot, assuming that they have a way to pump this, which they presumably do. But we can actually Frailty Trap, and that makes that a bit more awkward. Could also start them with Soul a bit here. If we block with the Frailty, we're forcing them to pop their Boltyn ability. They can attack with Raiden. They got Lumina. The Raiden's coming in for -1 each time. Might actually just be more efficient, though, to just Frailty Trap the Raiden and then block with Spreading Plague, and then we get to keep Pain in the backside. So I think we're letting this hit. It's not on hit, go to Soul or anything, so maybe we don't care as much. We do also have 2 Luminas out of the way, which is quite nice. Waiting for the optimal time to Riddle with Regret here. But yeah, the Frailty Trap is whoops, sorry. Very smart of our opponent. Yeah, we needed to wait for the Gogan there. And now we give the Frailty. Alright, they do have the Courageous Steel hand, so that is actually a pretty good counter to our little play here, but we still do get to block the Spreading Plague on our turn. And we'll keep just starving the soul as much as possible here, although they do have like a pretty decent buffer at this point. Alright, go ahead and finish with the Pain in the backside. Still waiting for some of our power cards here, I think. I will say that I think the Riddle with Regrets are a little less than impressive. We're basically almost doing like a Riptide thing at this point. Carrie mentioned that one of our friends is a Riptide player. I feel like he would get a kick out of this video. Okay. Bolt of Courage coming in. So we can assume that either they have a way to pump this or they don't have a way to pump this. There's, funnily enough, Codex of Frailty, which we can play, but that would involve pinging ourselves for 6. So that's not exciting. I think I have to pitch the Codex, unfortunately. So I guess that means we're just blocking with, we're like double daggering on our turn. This is so sad. Maybe this card is bad. Like, even beyond the normal bad that we're kind of accustomed to. It's a chaos card though. I can't fault them for trying to print another chaos card that isn't spur locked or the gem. I was thinking about playing the gem, but like if we're playing the other Fable, then the odds of us getting a gem in Arsenal go up substantially. So I'm not super excited about that. We could play out the second Riddle, but then we're getting dealt 4 to ourselves, which is awkward. Yeah, they do have a Quicken token for what it's worth. Wait, where did they get? I guess they got that from from charging. Okay, so that's fine. We're in okay shape here, I guess. All right, there's Bolt of Courage, so I guess we're blocking that with what? We can block that with the Weather, or we can also block it with. Oh, they use the Quicken token though, so we don't even get the thing out of this. That's so sad. Yeah, I guess we're blocking. Or no, we probably want to hold on the mark. I guess we're blocking with Weather, and if they pump, we inertia. It's fine. Get the third Lumina. A little sad, but I think we're still doing it. I think they have had Beacon 3 times. Or no, this is the second Beacon. Okay. Yeah, I guess that works out. Maybe the inertia ends up being a little annoying, hopefully. They have a direct in hand or something. Alright, so there's the Lumina. Alright, it's coming in with Raiden. I think we probably are past the point of being able to block this. Warcry Bologna also a pretty good one. So they're going to get basically +4 on the Raiden this turn. Pretty solid. Oh, there's the Spirit, which we were trying to steal earlier this game. Hopefully they don't have a finisher in Arsenal. That would probably be worst case scenario. If we get like a D-React out of them, maybe that puts us in an okay spot. But as of now, probably not doing the best this game. Alright, we'll threaten at least a card out of hand, and then I guess leave no does nothing, but is acceptable. Right, there's Bannerets, which also, funnily enough, will not deal damage to them because this is end of turn, which is also very sad. I think this game is going quite well. We've done at least like 8 damage off this Riddle. I think more than half of that was to ourselves, but that is the price you pay for power, right? This hand is interesting if we can keep it, but I am beginning to lose a bit of faith after I think the third Lumina here. I do have a Beaming Bravado, which is coming in for a lot. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this one, but I guess we'll make an attempt here. Alright, take 2 here. We probably need to block a bit more this turn as well. Can we afford to say no blocks on this? Probably, just in case they have like a CNC or something. Nope, they're not going to do anything. Interesting. It actually might be good for us. Now they make a Vigor, which pings them, funnily enough. Alright, so this Riddle with Regret has basically been stuck in our arsenal because we don't have the density of cards needed to make it work. Maybe this card's supposed to be a 2 of, or a card that you're not supposed to draw into. I don't actually know what the vision with this card is, other than like maybe a meme card. But it is a funny. I guess we'll. Whatever. I don't think the Hunter's Clave matters here. Maybe we're missing another card in a future set that will make this card bonkers insane. It's entirely possible. Right, to get a V out of them, which is not bad. Right, take flight, pretty good. We do have the ability to potentially steal their Irina, which is funny. But I think we're still probably just dying. Yeah, I mean, we have to block this. I guess we'll block with Take Up the Mantle here and maybe Spike with Inertia and hope to just not enable their turn too wide. How many beacons do we have to worry about? We have one more beacon we have to worry about. I guess the Celestial Cataclysm is probably going to kill us before that, though. So I guess we'll block with these two. Go 1. Not very exciting here. At least I might be able to go out on our own terms here. We'll go ahead and block with Flick and Undercover. and then maybe they'll let our Riddle kill us. I think it's at least important to let this Riddle with Regret do something. So now we get the full 4 damage to ourselves combo. We'll order the triggers like that, I guess. I don't think we actually are able to stack them there. And funnily enough, how much damage did that Riddle with Regret like do to us? Is there a way to calculate that? Someone in the comments tell me how much that is. This card feels like you're playing Vincent. It's I don't know about this one. This might be a F tier Friday deck that stays F tier. All right, I think that's gonna probably wrap it up for the video for today. Again, we tried to make this card work. I don't know about this one. This card might be like just unplayably bad at this point. There has to be like some vision with this card. Like maybe you're supposed to like pitch stack it into like a slower deck that's trying to block everything you're doing, or like there has to be something with this card. But for the most part, this card just killed us. So that's maybe the most damning indictment of this card, is that the one game that we didn't draw, we actually ended up winning, but the other 2 we lost. Yeah, this deck is, yeah, it's a pile. I think the Betsy OTK actually might be better than this card. Like, this card, it pinging yourself is like very rough. Like, I guess that's like how it's balanced, but like the fact that it pings you X is like kind of crazy, right? Like you have to find a way to make a bunch of tokens on your opponent's side, and then you also have to not make tokens on your side, which means you like can't play out a second one of these, and you also can't play out a Codex of Frailty, which is like kind of terrible. Yeah, this F tier Fridays deck might need to stay in the F tier zone. I don't think there's any secret sauce for this card. Like this card just seems kind of unplayably bad, but I'm kind of hopeful in the future that maybe they give this card some kind of support, that maybe like you go a different direction with like Chaos or whatever. I don't know, but right now this is kind of like, I think this card actually might be worse than Spurlocked, which is a little bit crazy, because like Spurlocked at least doesn't kill you and also is kind of cool. Like this card just like kills you and it's kind of whatever. All right, so I think that's going to wrap up the video for today. Again, if you are interested in dealing 1,000,000 damage to yourself, I encourage you to try out Riddle with Regret. Pretty fun card, but obviously not anything more than F tier. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.